I'm here in Bristol at the Clifton Suspension Bridge with Robin Gibb.
You certainly are.
Robin Gibb, you're fascinated in history. That's your hobby. Now,
That's right, Leo, yep.
what are we doing here in Bristol?
Well, I'll tell you, Leo. I'll tell you. No, yeah. We're in Bristol because of Isambard Kingdom Brunel.
Aha.
Famous engineer of the 1800s, Leo.
Right.
Right, and he built this bridge, or should I say designed this bridge and had it built in about 1830, but he didn't live to see it completed. He died in 1859, and the bridge was completed in 1864.
Fantastic.
There we go.
And you obviously know a lot about this stuff. I mean, history is your subject.
Yes, I love it.
How'd you get into it?
Quite by accident. Well, it was not quite by accident in a way. It was just that something... I liked it at school, and it was one of my best subjects, but I never really got to learn as much as I wanted to at school because they didn't spend as much time as I wanted to spend on it. So it was after I left school that I learned the most.
We always associate yourself and Barry and Morris, the Bee Gees, with America. And, you know, here we are in England, and you're fascinated in British history. Is there any American history that you've been interested in?
I think, by and large, it's the reason I'm mostly interested in British history is because I am English. We are English.
Right.
Born in the Isle of Man, but nonetheless English.
Because that's another
British
thing that not many people
when
know.
I say British history, I mean British history. I don't just mean English history. British history,
Right.
which is very important, Leo. As you well know.
Who was your... Do you think... I mean, was Brunel one of your favourite characters through history?
It's not so much that Brunel was one of my favourite characters. He's a very important part of Victorian history, British history, and as such, it's very important if you're going to know about history to know about Brunel.
Well, let's go down and see the bridge.
Yes, let's do that.
So, how did they get it all to fit together? How did they build it? I mean, there must have been in different sections or something.
Different parts. They built each part as they went. As you can see, separate parts here, and the bolts here you can see on the ground. They built in different sections. Almost, they had one part finished. I suppose as they went. I mean, they can see actually how they actually did it. There's the lines across the bridge. So you know, they couldn't really build because it's not supported at all. This bridge, it's fully suspended right across. And another thing, you're probably wondering why it's so narrow.
Yeah,
Go on.
As well, the cars, I mean, surely they didn't have cars in those days.
No, they didn't have the
horse and
cortinas
carriages
and things like that. He didn't even count on the cortinas. What he was counting on was the horse and carriage, hansom cabs and all that stuff, which is pretty much what it's still built for, because they never ever reinforced the bridge, which is a tribute to
Actually,
Brunel.
it's a good point, actually, that we've walked most of it, and now we find out it's unsupported.
Completely suspended, Leo. Completely suspended. Yeah.
Well, I think I've really learned something today.
You've learned a lesson, Leo.
Facts that I never knew before.
I know. And if you think that this was absolutely fascinating, then let me tell you there's something down there that's probably 3 times more fascinating, Leo.
Twice, 3 times more?
If not equal. And would you like to have a look at that, Leo?
Yeah, why don't we go and see that now?
Would you like to come now?
Right.
Good, this way.
OK.
Here we are.
On the SS Great Britain.
That's right, one of Brunel's great achievements, and this was built in 1839 and launched in 1843. It did a lot of voyages to Australia. Did its first voyage to New York in 1845 and back, by the way. And from then on, it went on to Australian...
How many days did it take to get to Australia?
52 on this ship. And then it kept doing it until eventually it ran aground in the Falklands and stayed there until it was brought back in 1970.
And they actually towed it in here.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and the Preservation Society, they're looking after it, Restoration Society.
Doing it now.
They're doing it all up, and most of it is done. I think there's some masts missing up
and
there.
it's going to look, they're going to try and make it look as if as like the day it was launched in 1843.
And we've got the rules for the passengers from the...
That's right, if you were a passenger in 1843, you wouldn't be allowed any hay. Oh yeah, travelling to Australia. 52 days. And look at the rules, Leo.
It says, number 1 here, every passenger shall rise at 7 a.m. unless otherwise permitted by the surgeon.
That's right, yeah.
And there's another one.
Down, getting you out of bed.
Unbelievable.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Now, this is first-class passengers. What did they pay to travel on here?
70 guineas. So if you were a first-class passenger...
That's a lot of money in this day.
You had to roll up your own bed, sweep the decks, including the space under the bottom.
And you wouldn't get any breakfast until that was done.
That's right. And you'd have to take out your mattress and air it over the railings of the deck.
It says on Sunday the passengers must muster at 10 a.m.
That's right.
and they will be expected to appear in clean and decent apparel. The day to be observed as religiously as circumstances will admit. Well, why don't we look around? Let's have a look around.
Yeah, there's lots to see. Come with this lad. Over here.
Right.
Yes. This way, Leo.
Right.
Careful of the legs.
OK.
Just on the bridge. One of the first bridges, by the way, this one.
Really?
Yes. First ship's bridge.
And one of the first ships to use metal rigging, is that right?
That's right. First, because beforehand they used to use hemp. you see. But this enabled the ship to, you know, different angles and better support for the mast.
He was a great engineer. He also had some strange idiosyncrasies about him, didn't he?
Yes, the Great Western Railway, which was one of his big deals.
Yeah, went from London to Bristol.
London to Bristol.
Or Bristol to London, rather, because he started here,
That's right, yes. He opened up Bristol to London, literally, and all of England by doing it. But when he actually went out to build the first tracks there, that was to take the trains, he personally went on his own with a stick, a walking stick, and walked the entire ground between London and Bristol and testing it. For the railway tracks to be
all
built.
the way from Bristol to London himself, because he didn't trust anybody else to do it.
That's right. It was complete. Everybody thought he was crazy, but obviously there was a method to his madness. Which brings me to my latest suggestion, the one I'm going to make to you right now. I think to keep this sort of mood of Brunel and the fire burning, as it were, and it's a perfect thing to end the day on. I think me and you should walk the same route as Brunel back to London now.
To London?
Absolutely. I think you can do it, Leo.
We'll test out the ground as we go.
Let's do it. Don't forget the walking cane.
Is it far to London, then?
No, it's about 500 miles, I think, sort of roughly. You know, you put up for it.
Do you think we'll get there?
It's only about 150, 150. It's all right. I was only joking.
All the way to London?
Absolutely. Brunel did it.
Ladies and gentlemen, Robin Gibb!